Hey there, I had a pretty quick idea that I wanted to run down. I had an idea about, I guess, a screen action, but it could really work in floppy. So this is the idea. So we have a lot of we have like Hassan and Zayd who are very quick guards, right? 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 99 speed with the ball. So let's set up here in a 5-out really quickly. All right, and let's give an example of guys we have, right? So let's say number 1 is Hassan. Let's say number 2 is Zayd. Let's say number 3 is myself. Let's say number 4 is Tahir's power forward. And let's say number 5 is Hassan, Faisal's, one of Faisal's 7-foot centers. Okay? So let's say that's the scenario. And let's actually, let's start like this first. I'll break down the immediate action that I wanted to discuss. But we can start in a 5-out and we can break it out from there. I'm pretty sure. But let's start from the actual immediate action I did want to discuss. So I wanted to discuss it. Oh my goodness. With him with the ball here and here. Hassan starting in the corner. Okay. This is what I wanted to discuss. Hold on. Okay. So this is what I wanted to discuss. So this is the basic action where you have number 4 kind of over here with the ball. And, we're saying, not to make that pass, we're saying that the center is a traditional center. Most centers like to play the paint, like to, help down low. So, he's giving him space, right? He's giving him space. He's not really playing it too high. So let's say number 5 sets a screen here. So my question is, if we're playing a team that switches a lot, what would they do? Okay. Most teams don't switch 1 through 5. They show and go, they play sides, they hedge. Most teams don't switch it. But let's start with this action, okay? So let's say number 1 can do 2 things, right? Number 1 can be here. Okay, let's say he plays it traditionally. So I guess there are a few options that the defense could do. So 2 options is number 5, the defensive players play both conservatively, set the screen, come up, he's wide open. Okay. Second option is number 1 plays it conservatively, number 5 plays it a little bit more aggressive and plays high. All right, don't pass that defense. If he plays high, I wonder if that crash can be there. Okay. So another option. He plays it aggressively. He plays it conservatively. Okay. We kind of double team him there. In this option, I'm thinking my first thought was 1 can receive a screen from 5 and come all the way around over here. But that's a lot of business. I'm thinking in 2K, 1 might even go like here to try and stop a pass to both big. Yeah, he might do something like that. Let's say he's here. I'm thinking if he's here and he's playing it like this, obviously Hassan cannot catch an alley-oop. I'm thinking the best thing to do is run down and see how they react. Like run to the middle of the paint and see how they react. We can, of course, come down as well and set screens and things and basically turn that into a floppy except from the corner. But I'm curious to see how they would react. Like, what would they do if 3 steps down, 2 can maybe guard both? And in that case, 2 can come up a little bit, pass it here, rotate here. 4 kind of has to choose, and if 4 chooses 5 and 1, they might not get out to the right guy. That's kind of an advantage that you can make. And I think here's a good point that I remember watching a coaching video, and the coach said, instead of teaching your players, main idea of what the coach said was, instead of teaching your players plays, teach them how to play. He said that his coach, when he was a little kid in middle school or whatever, taught him all 74 options out of their offense. 74 options out of their offensive set. Every single one. You can go here and hand off. You can go pass to this guy, then you can cut, then you can cut, then maybe you can fake this cut and go this way, right? So instead of teaching all 74 options, teach them how to play. Teach them to just try to make offense off of each other, right? Teach them how to use screens, how to properly go around screens, stuff like that. So this is, I think, a good example of how to do that. This is a good example of just know how to play, learn how to play, and you kind of get better at it. And you look at it again, you watch film and see what can get better. But this is just an idea. So that can happen, okay? So let's say you go set the screen, okay? He's following down because he doesn't know you're probably going to the block, where you're going to go, you might come back up. So let's say, he's playing it aggressively. I mean, if they're both playing it aggressively, I think that's a clear lob. If he's playing conservative, and that screen is there, you can pop up and probably get a shot if it's a good screen. What else? So both playing conservative, one playing aggressive. Don't pass. Stop passing. I'm not trying to pass. If one is playing aggressive, but 5 is playing conservative, my thought is cut down and see what 5 does. If 5 stays here, then I say, honestly, go all the way through and post up 5. Let 5 post up. You know what I'm saying? If he goes down, he'll probably follow. You follow. Actually, don't follow. I'm curious. Let 1 pop out and see what 5 does. If they're a good defensive team, they should rotate like this. He should bump and rotate. That would be what a good defensive team does. Okay, so let's go over this. So we went over the scenario. If 1 is being over-aggressive and 5 is being conservative, we went over the scenario where 5 is being conservative and 1 is being conservative. Let's go vice versa, where 1 is being conservative and 5 is being aggressive. So he sets the screen and 5 is being aggressive. If that's the case, I think come up, try it, and then dive, right? If you see 5 coming up as well, trying to stop that pass, right? When 5 sets the screen, the defensive center is kind of like up here trying to, make sure the pass doesn't get through. I say dive right away. See who follows you. Even though he's being conservative, so he might try to follow you, so maybe the lob isn't there. But definitely you can get the pass out here. And you can get a post up there, and it should be a great bucket. So again, that's what happens when 1 is being conservative. Oh my gosh, you're not working? What's going on? Hello? Hello? Nobody's moving. All right, well, that's the case when 1 is being defensive guard is being conservative and the defensive center is being aggressive. What happens when both are being aggressive? Hello? Okay, let's see what happens when both are being aggressive. All right. So then again, this is for a man defense that maybe they're not switching. So let's say both of them are being aggressive, right? So 5 goes to the screen. 1 is being aggressive. 5 and 1 are both being aggressive. Playing behind the play. I would say crash. If they're both being aggressive, you should have an alley-oop. Because they're both behind the play. Okay. 3 would have to make a great read, which then you can maybe hit 3 in the corner. Maybe 2 steps down. So you would step up a little bit, try to create a little spacing. Of course, 2K courts are too small for this to work properly. This guy can usually guard both passes just by standing here. But let's say it would work probably in real life. I don't know about 2K. But anyway, so that's the 4 different scenarios where both being conservative, number 1 should have 3. He's being aggressive, which I think is going to happen most often, which is also the most oh my gosh, I'm not trying to pass to you, brother. If number 1 is being aggressive, it's also the most difficult scenario where I think he cuts through, but he just cuts through. If 1 is being conservative and 5 is being aggressive, you dive and see who follows, right? Does 1 follow? Then you have a mismatch, you post up the center. If 5 follows, he's too late, you should have a lob, right? Or they're both being aggressive and playing over the screen, trying to make sure no action. I mean, why would he play there, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. He would probably play like here or here, right? And if he plays here, you cut through. That was if he's being conservative. But he's being aggressive and trying to also go for the steal. 5 cuts should have a lob. Those are the 4 scenarios I was thinking about out of this corner pin down action. And of course, you can also go like, you're down low and set a full pin down. And we see how they play it, right? Like, he's probably going to be up here, which would be good if the center could set a good screen. You could probably create a little bit of a what's the word? Mismatch, a switch. So I think those are a few things that we can do that I think would be very useful, very good against a team that is playing man defense with a traditional center, and we have a 7-foot traditional center as well. All right. Thank you guys for watching.